What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Veve Bros. I'm Grandison Crawford. Tony Get the Omi is going to be on Friday when we do our live stream. But today I have an awesome guest for Power Hour. And that being said, you know what you tuned into. Before I bring the awesome guests on, I just want to let you know we're at about 467 subscribers. Would love your support. Like the video, subscribe to the channel so that we can bring you more awesome live streams and more content. We're going to have more Dee. If you know who she is, you know she's awesome, and that's going to be great. But with no further ado, let's bring on the vibiest of all in the land. How you doing, Veve Vibes?
I'm vibing. It's Labor Day. A lot of people got the day off, so people are enjoying themselves. At least people here in the U.S. I know people in the other countries aren't, but yeah. So I'm chilling today.
Let's go. Okay, yeah. I see you double dipping over here. Let's go.
Trying to get that algo running.
Let's get that algorithm going. So yeah, it's Labor Day. Now I don't know about you, but ever since college ended, I haven't really paid that much attention to holidays. Like I was unaware it was Labor Day until yesterday.
Same. I would, never really paid. Probably because it's, I don't know. With school, you're kind of just looking forward to like the next holiday, or people talk about it a lot. You're like looking at calendars and stuff ahead of time. I don't know. But I definitely agree. Like sometimes just holidays just sneak up on me. They're like, oh, yeah, by the way, this holiday's coming up on like Monday or Tuesday or whatever. I'm just like, oh shit, that's right. Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah, I work part-time. I'm gonna say what up to you. Got a dog. What up, fam? What up?
What's up?
Let's go. How you guys doing? Yeah, that's a good question, yo. Veve Vibes, how are you doing, man? How is everything? We got somebody who misses you. Yada Dog misses you.
Yada Dog, what's up? Yeah, I'll be picking up content here again because I just finished. I'm starting a new job here in like 3 weeks. And I have to complete all this like tests and licensing and all that stuff. And there's 3 different tests or like licenses I have to like pass before I can like start officially the job. And it's a ton of studying. And so that's what I've been doing. But I did pass the first test, like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 days ago. And I have I have like 5 or 6 weeks until the next test. So I'm kind of chilling. I might make some content again, but I really just put everything on the back burner when it came to like Veve and content and all that stuff.
Show some love for new jobs. Let's wish Veve Vibes good luck on his new test. Put some claps in the comments to show your support. We really want to make sure that everybody in the community is paying that rent. And I know Veve Vibes has been doing great, but this sounds like a awesome opportunity. What up?
And it's got some nice bonuses too when I initially start. So it's like I put some money in Omi, put some money in Veve and stuff like that. So
all right. So kind of I guess you're already getting into some fun stuff. Like what are you looking at when you're seeing the market and where it's at? Are you looking more to when you get this extra money from that JOB to be putting it into Omi or NFTs?
Gosh, to be honest, part of it is I haven't really been looking at the market that closely because, again, I've just been busy studying and all that stuff. I've just been playing the drops like occasionally here and there. I played the ASM 300 drop. I didn't play any of the Dcon drops, mostly because some of the drops are at like 6 and 7 a.m., just like way too early for me. Most of them I didn't really care to go for, though I did hear some of the drops actually did pretty well, or some of them are doing pretty good in the secondary, which is nice.
I think that Bow did really good.
Bow did really good. I didn't do any research. I usually watch like Veve and 3's videos on like just all the alpha about the coming drops and stuff. I haven't watched any of that. But if I had just like, I don't know, a bunch of money right now to potentially put into Veve, oof, that's tough. Like part of me also just wants to wait. I've been saying that. Like I've been saying the same thing forever. It's just I still think things could go a bit lower. I know that's kind of it's like, well, duh, everything could go lower. Things could also go up. But I'm also kind of preparing for because we're about to have a lot of accounts unlocked because it's been about a month and a half since we've done the whole KYC thing. I think it's been 2 months, right? Because it started.
Yeah, it's been a couple months.
July 1st?
That started before AF15.
So it's been 2 months. So they did say 2 to 3 months, and I knew it wasn't going to take 2 to 3 months for them to like unlock all those extra accounts, right? Because a lot of people with extra accounts with NFTs on them, including myself. I have 2 other accounts with collectibles and comics and all that stuff. So we're about to get a whole new fluctuation of new accounts coming in with also a lot of collectibles that people are trying to sell. It also could open the door for gems too, because some people do have gems on those other accounts. But I feel like most people's main accounts, that's where the majority of gems are. Then they have a lot of other collectibles that they either want to potentially get rid of or they couldn't sell in time. So I do think we could see a huge fluctuation of like just new listings when we're able to like merge our accounts and stuff. So it's like things could go even lower because people are going to undercut more now that there's more collectibles in circulation.
Right. And I mean, a lot of people are willing to take losses just so they can get whatever they want, right? Like people will sell way under just so they can get an AF-15 common. But let's get into some of these comments. Super VBK, Labor Day Burgers, Dogs, and the Veve Bros and Veve Vibes. Appreciate you guys.
Let's go.
Let's go.
What if you got a hot dog? What do you put on it?
Ooh, if I got a hot dog, I'm gonna put. Damn. All right.
For some reason, I feel like you're like a relish guy. I feel like you like a relish.
You know
guy.
what? I do mess with relish, but it's not like my first go-to. If I have a hot dog, I'm putting bacon on it. If there is cheese, I'm putting like some sort of cheese. And I'm not talking about healthy, free-range chicken cheese. I'm talking like processed. I shouldn't be eating this.
The synthetic like you want to be able to taste the plastic.
I want to taste the plastic.
A little bit of crayon too.
Ooh, and then maybe some I don't really know what they're called, but something to make it crunchy. So the crumbles, they have those little like fried kind of crumble things that you put on them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could also do bacon bits too. I thought that's what you meant initially when you said bacon. I was like,
I bacon wrap mine because I be eating them street dogs, my dude.
Okay.
And when I went to Iceland, I realized that Iceland is more civilized in so many ways because they put all of the condiments and things in the bun and then they put the meat on top, so it doesn't go everywhere. That's
smart.
That's way smart. I had to tell.
I thought you were gonna be like, all right, I'll put a little bit of ketchup and like, all right, I like mustard, but you're like bacon bits. I want cheese. I want all that stuff.
I'm on my grown man game with hot dogs. What do you vibe with, Veve Vibes?
Gosh, it depends. I mean, I'm pretty open to anything. If I can get like grilled onions on there, like chopped grilled onions, maybe some chili. If the chili's like really good, put some chili on it. Because I actually had it's been the first time I went to, was it Sonic? No, I think it was Dairy Queen. For the first time, I think like 3 weeks ago, I went to Dairy Queen. I was just driving by. I'm like, God, I haven't been to Dairy Queen in like 8 years. I'm just going to go there. And sure enough, all they had was like blizzards and like 3 different hot dogs, or like, they like a chili cheese dog and something else.
Heck yeah.
But like the entire, like 80% of the menu was just desserts. And like there was a very small menu for like, I think there was just mostly just chili dogs and stuff. So I ended up getting that.
If they dropped a Veve official hot dog or burger, which would you go for?
Like which brand of like hamburger? If I had to like, In-N-Out or McDonald's or
like even okay. So if they had say like a Casper's or like a Wiener Schnitzel option of a drop for a Veve hot dog or a In-N-Out or McDonald's burger drop of an NFT, which would you go for?
I would go for the Taco Bell drop.
You go for the Taco Bell?
I would go for Taco Bell.
That's my guy. Easily. Yes.
I would go for Taco Bell, but if I had to pick a burger, In-N-Out's good, but dude, I grew up eating like Western bacon cheeseburgers from Carl's Jr. Like those
that's real. That's real. I like the rodeo burger from Burger King. Let us know what you're eating today for your Labor Day barbecue, Joe. Yada dog, yes. What's good? I love that. All the luck. Hey, sending you vibes on your new endeavors. Let's hope you get some savings in your bank account.
Let's go. I think that needs to be my emoji because I know a lot of other content creators have like emojis that they have that's like built into. Because I'm trying to remember what it was. The Superstar Money, they have like stars they put up. Yeah. And then Dino does eggs, and I think mine just might be vibes because it says good vibes and it's easy to remember. So
yeah,
you guys need to come up with which YouTube emojis kind of like your guys' thing.
Yo, you should have a YouTube emoji art contest, and the winner gets to be the official Veve Vibes emoji.
I could dig it. If only YouTube was like Twitch, because Twitch you can actually, if you sub to a channel, you get you unlock the emotes, and you could use those emotes on other people's channels as well. So it's like if I'm on your channel, I could use my emote. So people are like, "Oh, that's a cool looking emote. Where's it from?" Like, "Oh, it's from Veve Vibes," or vice versa. If you guys have like a funny emote. So I think YouTube is pretty behind. Like YouTube's user base is amazing. I actually watched a YouTube video kind of comparing like YouTube and like Twitch for the most part, and just how like YouTube, I think for every Twitch user, there's like 200 YouTube users just in general, just on the platform.
Wow.
Also, the searchability, discoverability is like way easier on YouTube, but the only issue is like just the whole format and the layout is just like way more friendlier on like Twitch, just because people can like chat bits and emotes. It's much more community driven. You can interact with like the interface like way more, and you can do like little mini games. Like everything's already built in. It's super easy to like build up a community and have a lot of fun. YouTube, you have to like do a lot of back end stuff, and like some of the stuff just isn't there. But YouTube is still great. Like it's awesome.
Yeah. It's kind of wild. Like I think that now would you ever switch to like Twitch exclusive?
No, I wouldn't switch to Twitch exclusively. They did come out with a new thing recently, because before, if you were like partnered with Twitch, like if you actually had like subscribers and all that stuff, or like subscriptions, you had to like exclusively stream with them and like no other platform. Now they loosened it up where like you can stream on other platforms, just not at the same time. Because I know a lot of people stream on like, you know, Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and Twitch like all at the same time. But I don't know. Regardless, I still like YouTube. That's where everyone finds me on YouTube. Like no one finds me through Twitch. I mean, until I think NFTs become massive, like just huge, then I think a Twitch thing could be possible, but not unlikely.
But you can always do both. I mean, I'm on StreamYard right now, broadcasting YouTube, so it's not even a big deal. Yo, Mohammed Go Fries. Young Go Fries in the house, always showing up. I love and appreciate everybody who comes back for our live streams, and show love for Veve Vibes for kicking it on a Monday. I know you got a move going on right now, right? You moving somewhere?
In a couple months, I'll be moving to Scottsdale, actually.
Arizona.
So when I moved to Arizona, I lived in Arizona for like 4 years now. So I've been in East Phoenix, like Arcadia area. Now I live in like Mesa, Tempe, which is kind of close to the ASU Arizona State like main campus. I mean, they have campuses and like satellite locations all over. And then now, because of my new job, I'll be moving to Scottsdale, which is nicer, a bit more expensive, but it's going to be a nice change of scenery. Like I really like Arizona. It's actually been kind of fun moving to different like areas in and around Phoenix, just to kind of see what it's like. So
how you living, Go Fries? What's going on with you? What are you collecting right now, man? I know that you're in there probably getting deals. Young Garrett's in the mix. I love the regulars. I love the regulars.
The usual suspects that are in here, always hanging out.
Yo, we got Dee Stevens in the house. Hi.
What's up, Dee?
Yeah, we got actually everybody watching. This is just like a quick teaser. We're gonna be having a lot more content with Dee. She's going to be doing little shorts about various things on Veve and her takes on it. So definitely stay tuned for that and share the channel when we start coming out with that.
Cool. Is she a new content creator? Or is she like making Veve stuff now?
She's like one of the producers. She's like a producer on Veve Bros. She came on early and giving us dope ideas on like ways we could go about it. And then me and Tony Get the Homie try our best to get our act together. To meet the standards.
That's tough. Didi's clearly got her work cut out for her.
She definitely is going to have.
Especially Tony Get the Homie. Like that dude just goes off on tangents. I feel like sometimes on your stream, you spend about 15% of the stream just trying to get him back on topic. And then like before you guys are talking about Steamboat Willie, then all of a sudden, next thing you know, Tony Get the Homie's like dancing, doing something else, going on a tangent. Like you got to get it back on track. Be like, yo, we're talking about NFTs.
But here's the thing. So, and I'll get to you, Crip Tony. That's the cool thing about it is like we were in the comedy scene and me and Tony Get the Homie, and for everybody who's tuned in right now, Tony Get the Homie is on his job. He's back there serving up dishes to the children, so he's not going to be on our Mondays, but definitely stay tuned because I'm on and you like me too. So yeah, Tony Get the Homie and I vibe so well because like he's the perfect version of chaos for me. Like I've been around that my whole life of just like very eccentric human beings, and Tony Get the Homie is one of my favorite humans. Like we decided on the channel after we had like a coffee hangout because we had only done like 2 shows together doing stand-up comedy, and he, you know, he had started hitting me up about Veve. He was like, "You're on Veve?" And I was like, yeah. And I was starting my own channel. The reason I'm VVGTV on Twitter and stuff is because I literally started my own channel. and and I was doing something called Drop Watch, which was just drop info. I wanted to get used to like putting out content quickly. And so that was the easiest way to do it than having to like do hella research on stuff. And now, I mean, we do
kind of like Veve 3. Like that guy just loves doing research. I mean, that's part of his background. He did that in the military. So he's, you know, he had to document a whole bunch of stuff. He was kind of, understands journalism and all that stuff, getting important, condensing a ton of information into like something digestible. But sometimes it's hard when you just have so much information to cover, especially when you're talking about collectibles and you can't just like brush over certain things that people are like, oh, this is really important. Like this aspect of Star Wars or this drop or this Marvel character. Yeah. It has to be brought up, or like, because you're talking about the history and then the character and then the drop and then everything else. So it's hard not to, you know, have the video, because his original thing was like all of his videos, why it's called Veve 3. It was originally all of his videos were going to be under 3 minutes. That stopped happening after like 10 or 15 videos. And he's like, dude, it's just too much information. You can't cover everything in like a 3-minute video. So I told him, I'm like, as long as the videos are under 6 minutes, I watch it at ×2 speed and it's still under 3 minutes. So I'm like, don't worry. I got you.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I mean, you know, that 3 is whatever at this point, you know, it could be 3 hours. Cause if the information is interesting, like I learned very quickly over quarantine. Prior to quarantine, I would have said, I'm never going to watch a YouTube video over 10 minutes. But if it's interesting, I'll watch something about the Fermi paradox for 4 hours and be like, don't know why I know this now, but I was interested for all 4 hours.
Oh, hell yeah.
So let's get into some of the comments. We got Kryptoni, Ben stacking Yoda sabers and catching underpriced season 1. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. I have. I only think I have like 2 Yoda sabers. Do you still have lightsabers, Veve Vibes?
Yeah, they're all on my other accounts though. So I think I have all of them, but Ahsoka Tano. So the secret rare. I think I have all of them, and I think I do have 2 or 3 of like Yoda and Luke. So like 4 or 6 total. I don't remember. I haven't logged into those accounts in 2 months, so I kind of forgot what's on them. All I know is that
though, you got to make sure that you at least go in and make a comment every day on them. So that way, if you forget after a while. I think they'll have the merge before 2 years, but if you forget and they deactivate them, deactivated.
Oh yeah, I heard about that because I mean, I guess that's a good segue into actually talking about why we're on the stream, which is the whole video. Wazzaverse released that video, and luckily for us, just as the community, we actually have someone that's a content creator that also went to the Dcon over there in Europe. So it's like we're fortunate enough that, and he actually came from HRO or Hero, you know, that other NFT platform. So he kind of originally started there, then heard about Veve through a lot of us. And so he started making content there. So I don't know if you heard of Veve prior, but all I know is like his initial videos were about HRO. Yeah. And the dude gets really lucky on some drops. Like every time I watch him like play drops in like a little Twitter, like private group that we have, he'll post like, we'll play a blind box drop, and like more often than not, he'll get like the secret or ultra rare. I feel like 50% of the time he's like, oh, is this good? Or like he has really good luck, but I mean, he deserves it. So
yeah, I mean, and he's a cool dude. Like I also have the link to Wazzaverse's channel in the description of the video. Also, definitely, if you're new to the world, because you got to be if you don't know Veve Vibes, definitely support Veve Vibes. Subscribe to his channel, follow him. He's in transition right now, but he has a lot of content that you can catch up with, and he's going to be doing some dope stuff later. So definitely show some love there. What else are we stacking in the community? But let me know in the comments, and we're about to dive into the Wazzaverse and a lot of the alpha and leaks that David Yu was talking about. We got Muhammad Gofraz. Lost a lot of money on Dcon drops trying to get professional help. Hey, well, maybe in the future, Veve Vibes might be able to talk to you. I don't
know why, but when he said that, I thought of the Michael Jordan meme. He's like, stop, get some help. that meme we see with Michael Jordan.
Get some help.
I think it's like the drug commercial or whatever that he's on. I don't know why, but I immediately thought of that meme when he said it. Like, stop. Get some help.
I love that. Definitely before we get into all the alpha that's going on, you're on Veve Bros, and it's time to show your body, my guy.
Oh man,
I don't know what you got going on, but
I don't have a lot of room here. The camera angle's not great.
Hey,
let's go.
All right, y'all just get a sample. Y'all got a sample. He did the sway. You know what I mean?
I can Dougie a little bit. It's been a minute. Hey. It's been a minute.
Yeah, has anyone identified Dr. Prophet? Not me. I'm not worried about another person's pockets. Got a dog.
Yeah, I mean, he's just gonna do whatever he wants.
He's gonna do whatever he
wants.
I
mean, good on him for winning the first one of ones. The first 2 1-of-1s, right? I think he won the first 2, and then I forgot the other ones. But dude, it's so I mean, I've been saying it for a while. I'm like, the 1-of-1s would be cool, but I'm like, until they do like DC, Marvel, like those like 1-of-1s that are like exclusive. It's also cool that it's like art pieces from artists that are like renditions of current characters or different art cover or whatever that. Krypton, he says, not the Dougie. All right. How about the Cat Daddy? God, can you tell like I lived in like
that's the last time Veve Vibes had learned to dance. That's why.
Exactly. It's been a minute.
So Wazzaverse was at Dcon London. First and foremost, 2 Star Wars ships was kind of the leak. We don't know what they are exactly, but what are you thinking? I think if it's 2, it's got to be TIE Fighter and X-Wing, right?
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of like what's the not the opposite, but what is the kind of like the counter ship, or what's the other side of like the Millennium Falcon, which is, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Like maybe I know they Slave One,
right?
Yeah, which is the bounty hunter ship that Boba Fett used, which I know they wouldn't call it that. I forgot the name of that. They changed it somewhat recently.
Oh, yeah, because they want to have Slave in their Disney title.
Yeah, but I think just to keep it classic, I do think like Millennium Falcon would be like a solo drop. Like it's going to be just by itself. I don't picture it being in a. I really like the idea. I hope the IP holders, because I know at the end of the day it's not really up to Veve. I'm sure they have some input, but I really hope they get more. Just to kind of get the community involved, where it's like they do a drop like a blind box, but there's like a good and a bad, right? It's like you have like Wolverine and Sabretooth, then you have X-Wing and TIE Fighter. They're like, oh, team Sith or team Dark Side, hashtag this just because you like won it on drop, right? So
like
that way it's kind of
heroes and villains blind box.
Yeah, kind of like a heroes and villains thing. So if they did like, I mean, they already did Vader, but it's like they kind of had the good and the bad guy in each scenario, something like that. Just something for fun. I mean, they can do whatever they want, but I think it'd be kind of cool. On that, but I do think the 2 ships, I agree with you. It'll most likely be X-Wing and TIE Fighter. Those are the most classic ones.
Yeah,
I just can't think of what else it would be.
I really also like the idea of multi-character blind boxes. Like I could even think like Professor X and Magneto dropping as a blind box, and maybe there's like 2 rarities of each one, so it's still 4 collectibles, but you have a good chance of getting a character you really like and the rarity that you want. I think that definitely there's no reason, if they're going to drop 2 ships, which he slipped and said. David Yu's not exactly good about hiding anything.
Well, you can tell he's excited, and there's probably so much information that he wants to like leak and tell us, because I mean he's a fan too, right? And like also part of the thing is like also when you're when you're holding that many secrets about such a iconic IP or characters, it's like it's hard not want to leak it. Like, yeah, I know what's going to drop, or like, yeah, this is going to happen, or like it's interesting. I don't blame them, but I think that's part of the fun, right? Like it kind of forces people in the community to like get ahead of the game and keep their ear to the ground. Like, kind of like what Krypton said earlier. Just the fact that David, you mentioned like Yoda lightsabers as well as Steamboat Willie. Like I just looked at the graphs. Like Steamboat Willie went up a little bit. Yoda lightsabers went from like 20 gems up to like 27, so they moved quite a bit as well. So I think it's part of the fun. So, and
I mean, there's been a little pump on Amazing Spider-Man 300 too, I guess, on the commons.
Oh yeah,
which is kind of moving. I was looking at it and I almost listed just because I was like, you know what, I'd rather have the gems than the collectible right now. Because my game is really collecting uncommons, and I don't necessarily need them to be like grails. I just need them to be hella cheap and have a bunch of them.
Makes sense.
So, Veve collectible. It will be definitely related to the Andor series, so it's going to be Imperial ships. All right. Okay, I see what you mean by that. How do we feel? Do we thumbs up if we are interested in the Andor series?
Honestly, I haven't really looked. I think I watched a trailer of it 3 months ago, and I don't remember anything since then, so I haven't really looked into it. If it was Imperial ships, I mean, the only ones I can think of is like TIE Fighter, and then like maybe like the Star Destroyer, or maybe the Imperial like shuttle that they use, the one with like the 3 wings that like open up and then it closed up. That's like the shuttle that they use for, you know, Darth Vader and whatever else. I don't know what else they could do. I know there's also there's the TIE fighter like bomber ship that has like curved wings, but
we're thinking of spaceships too. So think about it. Ships is also land. So you could see walkers or AT-ATs. I mean, like the two-legged ones, speeders. Because they really don't. I mean, if they did, I don't know what the opposite of a land speeder would be. An Imperial bike. I think if they did an Imperial bike, that would be tight. Just because, I mean.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff they're doing. Have they done anything? I don't know. They've been keeping it pretty old school with the Star Wars stuff outside of the Kylo Ren lightsaber and Ahsoka Tano. But like, look, R2-D2, C-3PO, Vader, Luke, and Yoda, like lightsabers. What else have they done? That's it, right?
Yeah, it's mostly been old school stuff.
I feel like Marvel usually does like they're trying to promote the new stuff, but I feel like Star Wars, I think they've been keeping it pretty old school. But there's always a first, right? They could just do a whole drop dedicated to a new series or a new thing. So
yeah. I mean, and the cool thing about the ships right now, you know, you're still gonna have people flipping and stuff like that. But I was talking with my roommate about how if we're able to access certain areas in the Veveverse, if you have that IP, right? Like maybe we want to go to Andor, but the only way to get there is if you have a Star Wars spaceship specifically. So having these things long term is going to be dope. You can always probably get them back in the secondary at some point. But yeah, Real Talk says if they pull off the Veveverse incorporating the inventory, absolutely. Yada Dog, the UK party looked like so much fun. I couldn't get over, but 100% going next year. Yeah, you better get your tickets. It's going to be real popular. T Breeze, what about a Death Star? Well, I think maybe a Death Star, but what would be the opposite of a Death Star? A planet?
Just about to get obliterated. That's how you burn it. You just shoot it with the Death Star.
They got two rarities, one intact and one animation blowing up.
Yeah. You know what would be kind of funny is if, because this was actually a feature they had in an old video game I played, Team Fortress 2, where every time it would like track kills you got with a certain gun. So if you got a gun, you got a certain amount of kills. So it would be kind of cool, like based on how many NFTs you burn, it would be like a little kill counter for like the Death Star, where it's like you can burn NFTs or something like that.
Yeah, okay. Cool. So that kind of brings it in. So I like T Breeze's thing. Type in the comments if you think it's D for Death Star. Type T for TIE Fighter, and then type X for X-Wing for what you think is going to drop as one of the two ships that are going to drop. But let's go into burning, man. Like one of the things that was in that slipped was what it really didn't slip. He was just talking about it, but the burning stuff, burning collectibles in order to get very rare, super limited collectibles. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? I know you do a lot of like systems building because you're kind of like a EVE Online person and just a smart dude.
Yeah. So. I thought about that too. I could have sworn I brought that up like months ago and I don't remember, but I'm like, that's such a, you know, an ingenious system where it's like, because that was the longest thing I was talking about. Like, why would you just burn, you know, a ton of comics or a ton of collectibles just to reduce the supply? I'm like, you better get a ton of master collector points for it, right? Because that was one of the exchanges you could get for it. It was like, I'm like, dude, like I don't know if there's any collectibles that I would burn in mass just for master collector points. And then also, in order for that to be like reflect, I would like to see it get reflected in like the total numbers in circulation or whatever, because you just don't know, right? If certain how many really got burned until it like actually shows it. I guess you can kind of tell in the market,
right?
But they did talk about. I guess the main thing is like he said you could either burn sets or you could burn, you know. He just throw out a random number, but I think he said like 400 commons or a comic or something like that. So essentially, it's like kind of like a trade-in program where it's like you trade it into, maybe there's a button or maybe there's going to be somewhere in the app eventually where you can kind of like trade in or essentially burn 400 commons of a certain comic, and then out pops out a kind of a VV exclusive cover. Maybe it's a holographic version of like the original cover or something like that, where it's there's only so many in existence, but like the whichever ones you turn in, like those are burned forever, like those are gone. So either it's a full set thing where it's like secret rare all the way to common, or you just turn in, you know, 500 of any kind of combination of comics, or it could be 30, whatever it is. We don't know the numbers. I would like to see like something of a sliding scale where it's like, or you can burn 5 commons, 50 commons, or like 500 commons, and then like you can get one of each if you really wanted to. So obviously the one with 500 commons is going to be the most expensive. And would limit the supply a ton, but
Now, what if, okay, so what if you had like a holographic, like, because they could really take this art idea even further, where you have, if you burn a certain amount of commons, right? Some say 50 commons, then you get the holographic cover variant of that. And then if you burn other rarities, they each have their own variant. So there could still only really be a certain amount of each rarity holographic, and they'd still be super rare.
Yeah, so if you burned like 5 ultra rares or something like that,
right.
Now you get the holographic version of the rare. I would like to, I just thought of it, and it's like also just like animated covers, right? I think they talked about too, where it's like if the cover is like animated and like certain parts of the comic are moving or whatever it is, I guess that also kind of goes with holographic, but it's like a bit more in depth. I mean, technically they can do whatever they want. I think it's really going to come down to how much like developer time they want to put into it. For a certain comic, do they really want to do 5 different holographic rarities for each cover, which is, I feel like for holographic would be pretty much like a plug and play. But if it is like animated or if they're doing something extra, that would take more developer time. I kind of like the idea of like if each comic, let's just talk about She-Hulk, whatever the new one is. There's one that's like the holographic where it's like, hey, you can burn any 10 rarity, it doesn't matter. You burn 10 comics, which would naturally reduce the uncommons and commons. And then there's one that's like, if you burn a whole set, so 1 common all the way up to secret rare, here's a different cover. So it's like almost like each comic has 2 different new covers. Obviously, one's going to be more rare than the other.
Right.
But I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, I do like the idea of maybe burning a whole set. Now that's going to make it hella tough for some people.
Yeah.
But it should be tough. And also that will push up buying for comics that are considered trash, right? Now, all of a sudden, that comic that has not a lot of real world value has a rarity that is so exclusive that in order to get it, you would have had to be like going ham on these comics. Because I know there's people in like the secret rare Discord I'm part of that they just collect hella commons and uncommons and just have hundreds that they're just sitting on. So if they burn that, their foresight is going to kill it,
Yeah, exactly. And then now you're selling a totally different cover, right? Because if you have the holographic cover, now you put it up on the market, it's not going with the commons, right? It's actually a totally different area. And there's only, I would imagine if there was one that was like you burn the whole set, let's say if like a 30,000 comic run or 20,000, which is standard now, you'd probably only have like, I don't know, you might have 10 of those like in the market, like definitely low double digits. Like you probably have like 10 or 15 like on the market, like someone that's willing to burn a secret rare all the way through a common, and you just get a new one, right? And that's going to make the secret rares obviously more rare. And if they do have one where it's like more for mass amounts of burn, like I said, like if you burn 50 commons or something like that, that's also going to cause the commons to be more rare as well. So
let us know in the comments like what your thoughts about this are. Like, would you rather have it where people burn a whole set, or you can burn individual comics and get the holographic rarity of that rarity? And I mean, this is all speculation of fun, so we can mix and match. It can be a whole hodgepodge of both examples. But I do think that so many people would not burn. So even if this was implemented, there would be so few of these things. Like,
or you just buy the commons just because they're going to get burned, and you just naturally stack those. Like maybe you burn, let's say you have 500 commons, which is an absurd amount of a certain comic cover. Maybe you burn 100 of them to get 2 like of the holographic covers just to have them, but you still have 400 left over, and the price of it is naturally going to go up because people want to buy them and burn them and all that. So because you could play both sides of it, right? Like Slider's loving the holographic cover. Absolutely. Let's go. Like the people who really have the foresight, they're going to have enough to where they can burn and get that rare collectible and keep some. So that way each common that they have is now putting them at whatever the profit is and things like that. What were some other things that stood out in that video for you, young Veve Vibes? The burning definitely stood out to me. That was the one that was just like, whoa. But then there was another one that I think I tweeted out to you. Let me find my phone.
Get it. Wow, you have that's a big old space. When you stepped away, I didn't realize how much room was behind you.
Yeah, it goes back, I don't know, probably like 7 feet or something like that. But there was something I messaged you guys in that little Twitter thing that I was like, oh wow, like if this really happens, like that's actually kind of a big deal. Maybe it was already touched upon.
You messaged me and Tony, or you messaged in our group?
Like the group.
Oh, okay, got you.
Okay, so he did talk about how some of the stuff in the marketplace could get burned. I think he just means like returned or whatever. I'm not exactly sure. Or sorry, in the store. I think that's what he meant, because he said at some point he's like, oh yeah, some stuff in the marketplace could get burned, which I don't think he meant that. Like, oh, like if it gets delisted, it gets burned. Like you just automatically burn stuff that you kind of forgets listed. I think he means stuff in the store, which means they could start burning stuff that's still left in the store. So a lot of the old Dcon stuff, some of the Harley Quinns, I think like 3 of the 4 is still like in the store. Some of the Jurassic Park stuff, they might just burn what's left over. You know, maybe like every 6 months, they say, or maybe if something's been in the store for longer than 6 months or a year, they might just burn it. Be like, all right, clearly no one wants this. There's only so many left. We're just going to burn it. So they could do that. So that was another thing that kind of stood out to me. I think that's what he meant. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I think that's kind of what he hinted at. So they could burn some stuff still in the store.
So Slider's saying, I think they could do burn a set or burn like 100 commons instead of a set. Yeah, I really think that, like, I know he said 400, but like, how many people own 100 collectibles, period, let alone 100 commons? So having it at 100 is still a lot, but not like insurmountable.
Yeah. Well, certain comics, I mean, for like 300 gems, you can get 100 comics for certain comics. I mean, obviously, some of the trash tier ones, there's a lot that are
right.
There's a small handful that are actually going like below 2, but even then, like that's only the first like 10 or 15 listings, right? Then it kind of goes up to 2, and then those walls look pretty thin, which is why I'm kind of holding out a bit, because there's a whole bunch of other collectibles and comics, remember, locked up in other people's alt accounts or like extra accounts. And so when everyone merges them, now there's going to be even more supply. And that's going to, I mean, the demand's going to be relatively the same. And there could be more injection of gems, right? But I don't think it's going to keep up with the supply of new NFTs that are going to be put on the market, because people could be panicking and seeing like, oh, Darth Vader's dropping. Like, I want to sell it, but it's on my other account. So like, I have to wait and you know, whatever else. So
that's true. I mean, that makes sense, like as a strategy, because you're anticipating more supply. And if people can list them, they're going to, because we already see people doing crazy stuff. Just from the Dcon. I mean, why would you buy a collectible that's the only variant and then you sell it for way under? Burn all the Squirrel Girl comics. Yeah, burn them all.
Burn them all. She's a bit of a meme in like the Marvel comic community or whatever. She like beats like Thanos. I think they even said it in the comic where she beats Dr. like all these.
Doom. She beat Thanos. Yeah. Like I think she beat the Living Tribunal.
Yeah, I think so. And it's like, you know, it's all these villains or all these superpowered characters that literally took like the X-Men, the Avengers, and like Guardians of the Galaxy, like all at the same time, but like Squirrel Girl beats that.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, squirrels are really powerful. I don't know if you've ever been to a park in Los Angeles, but the squirrels will walk up to you and ask you for food, like in English. It's ridiculous.
That's how it was at San Jose State. That's where I went to school at, and there's squirrels everywhere, and like they'll just come up to you and just wait for you to like throw them a snack or something like that.
I swear. I voted one time, and I voted more than one time, just to be clear. And but one of the times I voted, there was a squirrel that walked up to me, and I feel like if I had stood still, it would have tried to climb my leg.
It happens.
Yeah.
Thought you were a tree.
What the hell? So Rare Grim, welcome. Is Star Wars vehicles, Pokemon, and DC Comics confirmed? If so, no point going for other drops. Just wait for those. Also, DC Comics have more top grails than Marvel Comics. Well, so the Star Wars vehicles are confirmed. We don't know what they are though. And there's supposedly 2 based on the leak that David Yu said in the Dcon London. Pokemon is not confirmed, but highly speculated. DC Comics, if you look in the fine print, Veve actually does have the license for that, but I don't know if DC is going to release them on Veve.
David, you kind of joked around about, I think they said that they talked about karaoke or something like that, like partying at Dcon London, and he joked around like, oh, I'm going to sing the Pokemon theme song. Yeah, that's my favorite song. So like that's been a meme. They've been joking around about that for like almost a year now. It's like they just joke about it. And like, do they have it? Maybe. I don't know. I think it's 60-40. I think like 60% they probably do, and then 40% is like they don't, and Pokemon's going to do their own VR thing. Like, who knows?
Right. I mean, and like, I think that there could be a combination of both. Like, I think that Pokemon will probably they're already doing AR, right? They could do, what's up with my brightness? Okay. My screen just went dark. But they could then go into collectibles on Veve. Truth is, Pokemon doesn't need anyone. They don't need anyone. They can literally do whatever they want. If they announce NFTs tomorrow, we would all be Pokemon bros. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden we'd have
Poke Bros.
Poke Bros. That'd be tight. We just start our own. We just start a collective channel.
Just start over from scratch. They're just like we're just gonna ride this.
Only one hashtag in the description, and it's just Pokemon.
Yeah, I do want the first drop to be the original starter set, where it's like Pokemon, like Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Charmander. That's like the first blind box.
Yes.
And then maybe Pikachu as well. Maybe Pikachu is the but there'll be quite a few, I would say, of each. Like,
and
they're maybe all common, and they're all just pretty high amounts.
That's what
like 10,000 each or something like that.
Like make common great again. You know what I mean? Like have them all 3 drop as common, so nobody's like, oh, I want the secret rare. And you basically are just going to stack whatever your favorite is. Type in the comments, what's your favorite Pokemon? Let us know. What's happening? Joined late, but I'm glad I managed to get on time for some knowledge and discussion. Newman Khan, absolutely. We've been talking about a bunch. We've been talking about burning comics and making new comics as verticals. We've been talking about the Star Wars vehicles, Type T, if you think it's TIE Fighter, X, if you think it's X-Wing, and D, if you think it's going to be a Death Star. In the comments, we saw a few Ds out there. It's going to be cool. So DC Comics would be flames, 100%. Whatever you do, don't burn Toby. He's the real grail. Mohammed Grofraz is out here trolling on the live stream. Squirrel Girl would destroy so many Pokemon in real life. Yeah. If either of those were real life things, absolutely. I mean, although I don't know how powerful squirrels are, considering there's dragons and psychic beings.
Oh yeah, there's some crazy. I really only pay attention to Pokemon up to like Gen 2, so like the second one that came out. I know the originals pretty well. Then Gen 2 came out, and I know only a few of them just because I played a lot of like Pokemon Silver and Gold and whatever, because that involved like those two. But beyond that, I'm not really familiar with like a lot of the other ones. Like a lot of them I've seen and stuff like that. Other than that, not really.
Yes, indeed. So let's go Poke Bros. Yada dog. I love that. Toby, the real grail. You tripping. Psyduck. Go Psyduck. I like Psyduck actually. He's ridiculous. Squirtle all day for me. Electra to the moon. Yep, absolutely.
He also mentioned Electra. Yep. David talked about Electra.
Oh, I didn't remember that part. So what did he say about Electra?
All he said was like, all right, we realized like Electra wasn't great looking, some of the future ones. Cause I think he said might try like a different art style or whatever it is. I'm not sure if they're working like with the Marvel Studios to like make sure it like looks a certain way. Because David was like, well, I thought it like looked fine, but I guess not. Like a lot of people complained of the way it looked. But I think that's mostly because, I mean, you look at all the DC NFTs, right? Like they all look great. Like Todd, all the black and white series stuff.
Superman looks kind of garbage though.
Yeah, he does look like he's wrapped in, I don't know.
He looks like he's wrapped in cellophane, and then his face, he looks like he is constantly trying to hold in a fart. Like, I don't know what the deal with his face is, but
that fart's going nowhere.
That fart is going nowhere.
That cheeks of steel is going nowhere. Steel,
bro. You ain't getting out of that.
How else does he propel himself? How else does he
How else do you fly faster, bro?
Just straight out your arms harder? Is that how you do it? You just fly faster?
Yeah. Let's go. Electra would get effed up in real life by most Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, she's just a ninja, so she can't really do a lot against flames and lightning, I don't think.
Yeah, ground type Pokemon, flying, all kinds of stuff.
He's got the
I could just, if Pokemon was real, I could see all kinds of just crazy shit happening. Just like people like walking with a Machamp, 4-arm dude, just like robbing a bank, just like tearing off the vault like door and just like taking everything.
Oh yeah,
please come flying in on dragons and stuff. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, it's just crazy.
Do you think that, like, because I know in LA and California for the most part, you can't ask people if they say it's a service animal. You can't ask them. Could you imagine people walking in with a Charizard and being like, "It's a service animal"?
It's a service animal.
Yeah, you still gotta sit outside, bro. Like, that's ridiculous.
Not happening, dude. I would get to. But what's your favorite Pokemon? If you had to pick, like if you had to pick your side,
but is Scizor or the evolution of Scizor? What's the evolution of Scizor?
Well, there's Scyther and Scizor.
or Scyther and Scissor.
Scyther is the bug, and then just slap some metal on him and he becomes Scissor.
I like Scissor a lot because he just looks cool. It reminds me of like some sort of it kind of reminds me of a Digimon, which is a weird thing to say because it's a Pokemon, but I like it. What about you?
I don't know why, but I've always liked Alakazam. Alakazam with the 2 spoons. You know what I mean?
Dude, he's lips.
Yep. Dude, I always liked Alakazam. I always liked Alakazam, and it was so funny because I was watching on, I think it was Instagram or something like that. I rarely stumbled upon like all these like people like, oh, what about this team? And it usually has like a theme of like fire or whatever. And someone just comments like Alakazam would beat like the ice cream type Pokemon because he has 2 spoons and he would just like eat them or something. Because there's a bunch of like ice cream Pokemon now, and that's the part I kind of just like lost. Like once Pokemon started turning into like home appliances and stuff like that, like a washing machine and keys and inanimate objects, I'm like, this is just weird now. Like I can't get behind this.
Spoonie Man, Garrett, you love when I drag Superman? I got you, man. We got to bring him down a peg. Actually, no. Alakazam is tight.
He's cool.
Who was I thinking? I was thinking the one that kind of looks like Mr. Popo. That's Alakazam. There's one that's like it's I think it has a long-haired one. Like it's like a long-haired lady and it has like poofy red lips.
Oh, Jinx? Mr. Mime or Jinx?
Mr. Mime. Yeah, maybe it's Jinx. Yeah, I don't like that one. I do not like that one. Because Mr. Popo is borderline racist. So I was like,
yeah.
I don't like him.
I think you're thinking of Jinx. Mr. Mime liked a bit differently. Yeah, there's Jinx and then there's Mr. Mime. Newman Khan wants to know our favorite legendary Pokemon.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, not cool, y'all. What the heck are we doing?
Yeah, that's Jinx. I'm trying to remember like the legendary Pokemon. Part of me just wants to do an easy cop out and just say like, oh, like Mewtwo or something like that. But Rayquaza is pretty sick. I mean, Lugia is pretty cool. I don't really have like there's like weird ones like Jirachi, like those only ones like, but any like the newer legendary Pokemon, I have no idea.
What's the whale one? The whale looking legendary. It's an orca.
I was thinking whale lord. It's not whale lord. It's someone's gonna know in chat.
Someone's gonna know. What is the legendary orca whale looking Pokemon?
That one does look pretty cool.
I like that one a lot. There's some cool ones. I've been playing Pokemon Go because Tony Get the Omi got me wasting time out here. And there are a lot of cool ones that I'm like, wow, I hope I get that. I also have very minimal investment in this because it's just a hobby. Jigglypuff and Snorlax is the tag team GOAT. Oh wow, you really know, Rare Grim. It's Jinx. Yeah, Jinx not cool. Not cool, Jinx. I think we should ban Jinx just for the kicks of it. Looks like Nicki Minaj. You're cold for that.
You know, I forgot that those 3 birds are technically legendary Pokemon too, like Moltres, Articuno, like those are legendary birds.
Voltron or right?
Zapdos.
Zapdos. Yeah. If you grew up with holes in your Zapdos.
Oh my god.
That's what Jay-Z was talking about when he did the 99 Problems.
Kyogre. That's what I'm just looking it up right now. Kyogre is the whale looking guy.
Kyogre, yeah, I like that one. That one's tight. Pokemon is boring, could never get into it. Don't come at me. I'm sorry. Hey, Go Fries. We all got stuff we nerd about. I mean, some people think Marvel comics are boring. I would laugh at them in their face. But I mean, Pokemon, you ain't got to be into it. There ain't no shame out here. You got what are you into then, Go Fries? What
butters your toast?
Yeah, what butters your toast, baby?
Yeah. What gets you going in the morning?
Those 30, exactly. I know some people wake up and they're like, man, I better catch something. But Go Fries is on some different shit. Those 3 birds are badass. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, something like the new legendary Pokemon can like control like space and time and just like really crazy stuff. And I don't know. It started getting a bit over the top for me. Like,
oh yeah, you were like too OP.
Like too OP. It's like, oh, this one can control electricity. Like, oh yeah, I could just like warp time in space and just like make you age yourself to death. Just like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're like, you could freeze time. How would you beat a Pokemon that can do that? Anti-freeze? What's that? What move is that?
Can't do anything.
Is Team Rocket still around in Pokemon? I don't know. I know that they're around in Pokemon Go. I beat them up all day. Here's when I play Pokemon Go. I play in between my job, which is a 12-minute walk, and I play in between my house and Trader Joe's, which is a 20-minute walk. So Team Rocket gets wrecked every.
Yeah. I think Team Rocket's probably the most realistic thing in Pokemon, because they're like out trying to actually like steal Pokemon and like train them and like take over the world or become like a crime syndicate, which is like, I think that's the most realistic thing in like Pokemon.
Well, especially because like if you think about it, right, like stealing, since Pokemon are just blindly loyal to whoever has them, then like stealing Pokemon, like for example, stealing a dog, you know, that might run away, go back to its original owner, but a Pokemon is just going to be in a ball ready for you to wreck shop whenever. Yep. So I don't know if I don't know if or when Pokemon's going to come out for Veve. I'm not too concerned. There's so much IP that they haven't even dropped. I'm waiting for Street Fighter stuff.
Yeah, they're coming out with a new Street Fighter, right? Soonish, or it's like a new rendition. I don't know. I don't really keep up with fighting games too much.
Didn't Brock invent thirsting? I don't know. I'd say probably yes. Maybe. Awesome. I mean, not the term. Yada Dog used to love the 90s cartoons. Yeah, absolutely. They were cool. I didn't watch them that much. I did watch Digimon more, but I think it's just because like Pokemon came out at a time when I wasn't really watching hella cartoons. But yeah, so I think just in terms of the David Yu leaks, Star Wars vehicles are the biggest thing. The burning, do you think that that's going to cause floors to get eaten up a bunch in comics for the next few months?
Yeah, I would say any like first announcement of a thing, and not sure if they're gonna just like open the floodgates, but like by the way, like any and all comics can now get burned, and now you can get a holographic cover. They might just do it for certain comics first. I have no idea how they would do it, or they could just make it very open-ended. Like, hey, by the way, if you just burn 10 Marvel comics, doesn't matter what rarity and what combination, you get this cool cover of a comic we haven't released yet, or whatever. It's kind of like ASM like 130, right? Where it's like you burn it and you get like airdropped a comic or whatever. And it's like pretty rare, and you can do any combination. It doesn't matter. And you know, it's not like, because it's an airdrop, they're not going to like re-release that comic. Like, we're not going to get, I know ASM 130 was released for a different thing, but it's not like then they're going to re-release ASM 130, the Hammerhead spider buggy thingy, and do like 5 rarities. Like, that's it. So I can totally see them just like releasing a completely different comic that they're not going to do 5 different like rarities for, and it just have it be the airdrop. So they might just test it out, be like, hey, just burn 10 comics and you get this one time per KYC account. So you can't just stack 40 of them or whatever.
Now, what are your thoughts? And this goes out to the community as well. We got another 10 minutes on the stream for Power Hour. But what are your thoughts on like announcing things versus just implementing them?
I would like to see like a hybrid system, maybe some things that are announced and some things that aren't. I don't really know off the top of my head like which things I would like to be announced and which things I wouldn't. I would like the majority of things to just be unannounced, like, hey, you get an airdrop for this set or that set. And then occasionally, if they do want to announce something, I would assume it's probably up to Veve or maybe the licensors. If the licensor has a certain idea for an airdrop, maybe they just don't announce it for some of the bigger IPs like Disney and Marvel and DC. But some of the other smaller ones, kind of like the Jurassic Park and some of the other ones that just aren't performing that well, like, hey, we just need to announce it just to like kind of get sales going.
Well, and they have to announce the burning thing, right? Like they have to let us know. So you can't really surprise with that. With airdrops, if you have a set, I think it's better if they don't announce that you're going to get something for it. So that way people have to keep guessing what they should be buying if they're not true fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. David Yu also did mention one other thing about the like cons and stuff like that. He said he would like to have it that certain conventions, and I would like to, he said like they are going to be working on like the waitlist system, like that is going to be coming at some point. And we're not fully converting to a waitlist system. It's not like every single drop from now, like when they release it from then on is going to be waitlist. Like I think he said some are going to be waitlist, some are going to be the old school system. I would like, if he wants to do that, because he said when he's at that convention, he saw a lot of people didn't land the drop. He said like there was a couple hundred people going for the drop, but only like 2 won. And so you have a lot of people that when they initially start the app, they have to KYC like right there, right, to play any drops or anything like that, I believe. I'm not sure what it's like for brand new accounts now, but he did mention like, all right, maybe we'll do a waitlist system where the newer people have a higher chance of winning, something like that. I wouldn't mind if a lot of the con exclusive stuff was waitlist, just so they have a chance of winning and they could just queue up and that's it. But then have all the other drops not, associated with the convention just be normal. Right. So that way the people at the convention, they just queue up. They know it's random chance rather than like, oh, someone just had faster internet or the Wi-Fi here sucks at the convention or whatever it is, right?
Right.
So he did mention, I don't remember the specifics exactly, but he did mention something about potentially something with new users and them having like maybe there's a drop that's exclusively for new users. I could definitely see that getting gamed like that's pretty easily, right? Like people could just make a new account. The whole KYC part would make it a bit more difficult, but
or even one where like instead of it being like you have to have been on, like if you're under like under a month of being on the app, that's still a new user, but it's not a brand new account user that gets some sort of priority.
Yeah, like Gary Singh just said, I know I'm kind of skipping ahead in chat, but I just heard him say, he said, FYI, brand new accounts without KYC can go for a drop. They just don't have access to marketplace for 3 days. Okay, so, but I could still see that getting game because I could still make a brand new account, right? For every convention, play the drops, and then just link it to my main account later. Be like, oh yeah, by the way, this is just another account I had. And I'm just going to link it to my main one when they do eventually link accounts.
And that's stupid that brand new accounts without KYC can go for a drop. I think it's dumb.
Yeah, I mean it's easily bottable. Like
just make it uniform. If KYC is the goal, get KYC going. The burning of comics or collectibles seems like a simple use case, but it has to be coded such that many rules can run concurrently. By rules, I mean burn 10 of X, get A. Burn 5 of Y, get B. Yeah, I think they should clearly define that so it's not random. It shouldn't be different. So
your 2-mint common or your 2-digit common doesn't get burned accidentally because it just picks like 10 random commons, right? You can actually either hand pick it or whatever it is, or maybe there's a whole bunch of solutions for it, but I really hope it's not just random.
They shouldn't announce any new features until they are ready to release them. This community can be nasty if they don't deliver on time. Yeah, I think so. I definitely think that like that's what got Veve in trouble before, was like they were announcing things as if that was like coming up soon. Because it's one thing to say that that's something that you want to do at a certain point. It's another thing to say this is happening soon, right?
Yeah, and I think the main one, obviously the biggest one was just not KYC, but the cash out, right? Like that was the biggest one. They definitely underestimated how long it took. Also, regulation changes that were happening in New Zealand and just across the world when it came to cashing out and NFTs and all that stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, they definitely very underestimated that. I mean, that's the biggest one because that's their exit strategy. That's their money. But when it comes to stuff like, I don't know, like KYC, I didn't think it was like KYC is nice. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't preventing me from, well, I actually, with bots and all that stuff. But when it comes to like, I don't know, comics and showrooms, like I couldn't really care about comics and showrooms. Like it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's not, it'll probably cause a lot of market like comics to pump like 10%. For like 2 days, and then it'll just go right back down.
Right. Yeah, so I agree. And I think too, like a lot of the features that we're hoping to see, and let me know if you agree, they're going to be implemented with the Master Collector program. Like it doesn't make sense to offer burning of collectibles before you have the Master Collector program, because one of the things in the Master Collector program that you get as a benefit is the ability to burn things. Without, because otherwise you have to pay some pro account that they're talking about, which will give you that ability. So you need to calculate where people are at. And I don't know where you're at, but did you see Randy Chavez's video where that, he was talking about somebody who did research on all the wallets, and apparently like if you have more than like between 100 and like 250, like 100 plus collectibles, you're in the top 5% of collectors on the app.
Does that include comics? I assume it includes comics.
That includes
it's like
comics,
all things. Yeah. Interesting. No, I haven't seen that one. And yeah, no, I haven't seen it.
That's nuts though.
Yeah. Because I mean the whole, they've they've talked a lot about burning because I mean, David, you also noticed too that like a lot of comics are going below retail. Some things aren't selling out, this and that. I really hope they kind of wait before they start implement burning, before they start implementing a lot of this other stuff. Like Veve just needs more users. They need more users, more money, more time. That's all they need. Like money, you know, people in my, it solves everything. Literally, get more people on the app. They can word of mouth a bit easier, more money on the app. You know, Veve has more money. Licensors are happier. Now they can do more drops. And it's like, I'd rather just kind of wait a bit, wait 6 months, maybe even a year. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me before we start introducing burning, because we need more collectors, just more money on the app. Because I just hope Veve, as a knee-jerk reaction, is noticing like, hey, like a lot of comics are going below retail. People are feeling bad that they're buying a comic and then they're immediately losing, you know, 3, 4, 5 gems on drop. Maybe we should add a burn mechanic, like, right? It's like, no, just give it time. Like, we just need more people. Yeah. That's my take. If we introduce it, I'm not upset. I would just rather just wait. That's just my take.
Yeah. I think, and I mean, I think a lot of this, I think that they should never be reactionary, right? They should listen to the community on certain things. I love like when they changed Storm to a blind box, you know, because she was originally going to be individual collect.
Yeah, Sue Storm.
Was that Sue Storm?
Yeah, I thought that was Storm. It might one of the storms. I remember like they said it was going to be like a pick your thing, and then everyone's like, "Why is this not blind box? It makes no sense." And then they're like, "Okay, yeah, it's blind box." Or maybe they misspoke. Who knows? It sounded like it was originally going to be that way, and they reversed.
So listen, but also stick to whatever your plan is. Like, if you don't want burning until 2 years afterwards, don't give us burning until 2 years afterwards. Like, we're here for the ride, and a lot of this stuff, we have seen a fraction of what's actually going to go down. And there's no Veveverse yet. Whatever that looks like.
Yeah, and be willing to like change the plans, because I bet earlier this year they probably wanted to add waitlist, because like I really think they just had no solution for bots for like the longest time.
Yeah,
and everyone wanted waitlist mostly because of bots. But then once they disabled transactions, and like people in the community weren't complaining because they were just happy to land drops. They were like, all right, let's just leave this. Let's not touch it for a while, whatever it is. And that's why I said I hope David, if they were going to do queue system / weight room, just do it for the con drops. Like, I don't mind doing queue system and having a random chance at a con exclusive drop. Like, that's not that big of a deal to me, but at least like give the new guys, new accounts, the people at the convention, a chance to win. So I do agree on that. So they were definitely flexible there. I think they wanted waitlist and then they changed it.
Yeah, and they even said that because people were getting drops now, doing the wait list wasn't a big priority. So, but we're at the hour. Veve Vibes, thank you for being on. Is there anything that you want to share that people should check out or be ready for that you're going to be dropping on your channel?
I can't think of anything like today or anything like that, but I did, like I said, I passed my first licensor kind of exam for my new job. I have 2 more. But I have like 5 or 6 weeks till the next one. So I'll be making some content and I'm dealing with moving and some other stuff. But yeah, like I'll definitely be making content again here in the near future. I've just been busy with real life. And I'm still here in the community. I'll definitely be at Dcon. Not Dcon. Is it Dcon? Anaheim? That one? It's not the Dcon.
Oh, right? You're going? I'm going to be there too, bro.
Yeah, so I'm going to go. Dude, there's going to be a lot of Veve content creators there. It's going to be a ton of fun. I definitely want to get a business card from David. I don't even care if it doesn't have the the code on the back to like get the Veve logo. Like if it does, cool. If not, like I just want one. And I think what I'm gonna do in front of him, I would be kind of funny, is just like sleeve it, like put it in a sleeve, like put it in a protector, also because I really think like autograph signatures and from those, I shit you not, David and Dan, like I'm gonna hold it. So I'm excited.
Well, yeah, I mean, could you imagine getting those graded? You get like a 9.8 David business card.
Yeah, you grade it and you just hold it for, I mean, that's one you hold for like 20, 30 years when Veve's a household name and NFTs have taken over and all that stuff. Like I think a lot of people are not realizing like this whole like NFT thing, you know, with just the current economy. And on top of that, just like NFTs need to be normalized. Like it just needs time, cryptocurrency, you know, Veve, people talk about Veveverse. I'm like, because what's his face, that Veveverse guy that posts his stuff on Twitter and it has like this crazy like AR interaction.
Oh, like, yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's great. And I even commented on one of his things. I'm like, dude, this looks amazing. Like, I can't wait for this to happen in like 5 to 8 years, because that's how long it's going to take for that kind of like level of integration and get the licensors on board and have all the technology work together. Like, it's going to take time. So, no rush, no rush.
Yeah,
enjoy it now. Yeah. Enjoy the early times, but don't like be in a panic that I need to buy everything now or whatever it is. So like, Don't freak out.
Yeah. I mean, one of the greatest things to collect on the Veve app is gems, not financial advice. But that being said, thank you guys for tuning in to the live stream. I've been Grandison Crawford. This has been Veve Bros. Like and subscribe to the channel to support us, and we will be back Friday with Tony Get the Omi, and we'll be doing our live vibes. So thanks so much, Veve Vibes, and I'll see y'all when I'm looking at you.
Thanks for having me on. See ya.